as internationally filed, you'll have, you probably have gone through the PCT, and after PCT, you go to national stage, which is where you pick the countries to individually file. You want to make that decision to be relatively broad, particularly in countries where a product could be manufactured. So countries that are sort of big in manufacturing, and especially like generic manufacturing, you'll want to make sure you've covered those. So you would already have IP in all those places. Can't think of a strong advantage to formally transferring it to your subsidiary, because assuming the manufacturing facility now runs as a subsidiary, because they'll already have you aren't own. Your subsidiary could license it. I'm not sure there's any, beyond the tax advantages, I'm not sure there's a big reason to actually formally transfer the IP over. But the tax reason can be significant depending on the rates.
Thanks for that. I guess we'll move on to the next question. So in the scenario where the developer and owner of the IP decided to license that IP in relation to a product in the industry, how would, what do you observe basically the valuation process to be? So what would be the typical valuation methods used in the industry? And then following on from that, how would you see the upfront and milestone and payments and royalty rates be determined?
Sure, that's a great question. That's sort of sort of how every good project starts. I think there are two ways to start estimating value, and one, the simplest one to say is to look at comparable deals. And so you look at, there are multiple databases available, a couple that I really like, where you can search deals. And you can then search deals and look at what people are paying by by stage, by region, by therapeutic area, and start to, depending on how specific you need to go, you'll start to narrow down. The challenge on the comparable analysis is that not every deal is made public. Not every deal is made public with financial terms, and so those comparable databases tend to be skewed to the more impressive deal, because the licensor typically wants to brag when they've gotten a good deal, and so it's a biased analysis, but it's a starting point, and it provides a framework. And those comparables tend to have a very wide range. You tend not to get all the information about the deal. And so it's a start, but it's pretty crude as a tool. There is a database I use that I really, really like that actually gets access to contracts as they become unredacted from the SEC. This particular database goes and grabs those contracts. You can actually then read. You can actually get complete contracts for deals, and that can be useful for looking at what people are doing around the stage. So that's sort of the what's been done aspect of the valuation. And then the other is the more theoretical, which is a risk-adjusted discounted cash flow valuation model. Those can range from being major efforts to rough efforts, and it depends on how much time you want to spend on that and how much stake you put in it. Over the years, I've really tried to stick with a maxim I learned back in graduate school, where I was a chemist, which was that one good experiment is worth 1,000 calculations. And the experiment in this case is actually going out and talking to people and getting offers from folks. And the calculations, of course, this valuation model. It's a useful place because it gives you a framework to start your negotiation, and it also then gives you a framework to then analyze the negotiation